In this video, I'm going to be going over all the aircraft that I plan to build in 2018, so stay tuned. We're going to dive right into the space age category, is what I call it. The first thing we're going to build and are already building is the Saturn V. The Saturn V is my current project and is right now the largest rocket that ever launched. This was the rocket that brought astronauts to the moon in the late 60s and early 70s. I hope to be able to build this thing in the next few months and to get it done. This thing's costing a lot of money, but this one will be guaranteed to get built since it's already getting built. So we're sort of going to move on past this one into our next rocket, which is going to be part of the space age category, which is going to be the Mercury rocket. Now this is one of the first rockets to launch of somebody into space. This is this type of rocket, not exact type, but the type that launched the first astronaut into space. I believe that was John Glenn. And this is going to be a much smaller rocket than the other one, so that one should be fun. And maybe the space shuttle. Now this is one that's a little bit interesting because I like sort of how it looks. It's definitely interesting with all those flames coming out of it and all that lovely stuff, but it's really big, and this one would take up a lot of space. It's sort of big, and not to mention that
it sort of blew up a lot.
Alright, the next category of planes that is going to be built is going to be World War II planes. Now the first one of these is going to be the P-51. Now this may not be the order, but this plane should get built within the next year, just because I like it so much, and since it's small, probably isn't going to cost too much to build. This one definitely deserves a priority. Now the next plane that I want to build is the Corsair. Now this plane was really important during World War II. It was just so unique for what it was, and it had really a beautiful looking look with the wings. This one is definitely also one that needs to get built. When it comes to the bombers, the B-25 is really one of the bombers that I'm missing. I used to have one, but it got disassembled. I'm still not sure whether I want to have a solid nose like in this picture here, or if I want to have a glass nose like in this picture here. The solid nose is easier, but we'll just have to see. The next plane that I'm going to build is definitely going to be a B-17. This plane is just so important in the theater of World War II and just the history in general that it has to get built. So this one definitely is on the list. And rounding it up with the World War II planes, we have the P-40. Now this was an interesting plane because it was used a lot during the beginning of World War II, but a lot of people don't know what it is. It was known as the Flying Tigers, as you sort of will. This next category is sort of interesting. Be sure to watch till the end of the video so you understand it, but this category is civilian aircraft. We're going to start off our civilian aircraft with the 707. This is one of my favorite passenger planes of all time just because it was one of the first jets. It just is very classic. I want to do it in the Pan Am livery so it looks really classic, and I'll explain why I'm doing it in this color scheme later, so just be sure to watch to the end of the video, but this is why this one needs to get done. The next one that I want to do is the 737. Now this plane is also going to be done in the Pan Am livery, and again, wait till the end of the video so I can explain why. But this one also deserves a place in airplane history. Now a plane that I'm not sure is going to get built, but I might have time to build it, is going to be the 727. Now this plane just looks really cool, and it's going to be really big though, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to build this one, but it's definitely on the list. I also wanted to throw in a small Cessna. Since this one's small, then I could probably build it without having to make too much of an investment. So if you have any recommendations for which small plane I should build, then drop me a line. I'd love to hear it. And the 787 might get built since this is another pretty large plane. I'm not sure if I'm going to build it. I don't know if I have room, time, or the money to do it. But I definitely will consider doing it later on. The DC-3 is another one of those classic planes that I've always wanted to build but never really gotten around to doing it. I'd probably do it in the older color scheme, maybe light gray. I would do it in chrome, but I really can't. Alright, if you made it this far in the video, then I really appreciate that. This is sort of different things that I'm going to do on this channel that aren't exactly related to planes. So, the first one I'm going to do is going to be a lunar landscape. Now, I have already built this and will be doing a video on it, but I just want to have a nice way to display the lunar module and have some astronauts walking around on the surface. I also want to do something very similar with a Mars landscape. Now this one is going to be more interesting because I'm going to have to bring in some maybe red lights and a lot of red bricks and terrain, but I want this to really feel like you're on Mars. So that's definitely why I want to do this. And then the big daddy, the airport. If you've stayed to this point, then you understand why I'm doing this. The airport is going to be a 1960s airport, and I'm not sure I'll be able to do it, but I really hope I will. And it's going to be a 1960s airport that's going to have Pan Am and TWA planes all over it, since those were two primary airlines of the time. Now, I really hope that you've enjoyed this video, and as always, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Bye for now.